Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized E-Z-GO cart dealer that has no limits on a perfect E-Z-GO cart. Whether it's a fully customized cart or a stock-made cart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best E-Z-GO carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. First of all, I want to thank our segment sponsor for this segment, and that's Bice Motors right here in Alexander City. Go check out Brian Bice and the crew. They will definitely hook you up. Bice Motors in Alexander City. I want to welcome in Dr. Paul Goldhagen now. He joins us on Sports Blitz Live as he does just about every week, and we've had this has been a good run with you here doing these segments. I mean, I've learned so much about everything, and you hear so much about these injuries day to day, especially in football. Now everybody's so interested in fantasy, they see that little red cross symbol when next to a player's name, and they get so concerned. They wonder what he's got. I guess one guy, Deshaun Jackson in Washington, he hurt his hamstring pretty badly. He could be out several weeks. Talk about hamstring injuries, how hard they are to get over, how can you avoid them, etc.
Well, a hamstring is the big muscle in the back of your leg. It basically runs from the bottom of your buttock down below your knee, and it's responsible for bending your knee. And it's the power that gives us speed and push off. And it's a hugely important muscle. And the problem is when you strain it or stretch it and even tear it, it can take a long time to get over. There's a lot of swelling, and it's a lot of rehab involved with simply rest, ice, then there's stretching and strengthening, but a hamstring is just prone to re-injury. Don't know why it's so prone. I think just because it's such an important muscle for walking and running that it just takes a long time to get over. And the problem is we're trying to get the players back into play, and they're not really able to give it as much rest as they need.
All right, I'm going to just veer away from the strain discussion. I know that was sort of on tap for tonight, but I'm going to sort of go wild card here. A couple of things. First of all, one thing that gets a ton of discussion are concussions and the concussion protocol. You see it so much out there. I know, for instance, in the Alabama-Wisconsin game, their starting safety got kneed in the head. If you remember, he went to the wrong huddle, and it was concerning. I mean, it's funny if you forget the fact how dangerous it could be.
Sure.
But he ends up, and they won't let him back in the game, despite the fact that on the sideline he looked perfectly normal. Are you a proponent of being that cautious about it?
Well, you kind of have to be, and you have to kind of play devil's advocate just because we know a lot, but we just don't know enough about it. And intuitively, there's a lot of evidence out there, a lot of anecdotal evidence that there is a cumulative effect of repeated concussions. So over the years, and we can debate whether or not the incidence has increased. I think it's a fact that we just recognize concussions, and we recognize even mild concussions, and it's kind of the buzzword. So almost everything is labeled a concussion, and it might be overplayed. But I think just like anything, especially even in youth sports, you want to err on the side of being conservative and safety for the athlete.
True. Do you think that the technology and equipment is keeping up with the bigger, faster, stronger athlete?
Great question. I do to an extent. I know there's things like the shoulder pads down at Auburn. They have a design, they have padding in them that was taken out of the suits that Formula One drivers wear. Because these guys are getting in crashes 200 miles an hour and they're walking away. Why? So they're using some of that material, and then the actual hard shell is reclaimed F-22 fighter jet carbon graphite, which makes them lighter, makes them stronger. Even soaking wet, they're still lighter than normal. The face guards on the helmets, they used to be big, heavy steel. Now they're made of carbon graphite and Kevlar, and they actually absorb energy and dissipate it through the helmet and around the head rather than taking a shot from the front and energy being directed directly to our heads. So yes, to an extent, I think a lot of the equipment has kept up and improved with technology to try and decrease injuries, but we can only go so far.
Let's talk about sports in general then.
Sure.
You're a big Florida guy. I don't think you make any secret about that. It's a little unusual around these parts to have a big Florida fan, but Jim McElwain got in a little hot water because he disciplined a player, actually the son of a former Florida great, Fred Taylor, and because he made the throat slashing symbol, which, look, he got penalized for. I'm going to let you give your opinion, then I'll give mine.
Okay. Well, one of the biggest pushes that McElwain has made is discipline and trying to decrease the number of penalties, especially stupid penalties. Florida, before McElwain got there for the last 4 years in the Muschamp era, was one of the most penalized teams in the country. And it just hurts. And there's stupid penalties, unnecessary penalties, and they hurt. So he was trying to impart to the team that it's very important to follow the rules and not get penalties. It was definitely a penalty. It was kind of a, kind of a thug kind of move. And I think Kelvin Taylor actually tweeted to McElwain and everybody else after the game that basically he was wrong and he respects the coach. Now, granted, McElwain was a little demonstrative and a little profane in his criticism, and I guess you have to realize that there's always a camera somewhere that's going to record it, but that's football. If you put a camera in anybody's locker room, you're not going to be able to hear every other word will be bleeped.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of takes on this from me. First of all, I think that if Nick Saban does that, I think that maybe there's a little bit made of it, but not so much in the sense that, number one, I think people may expect it from Saban. Number two, he's won a lot. The more you win, the more you can get away with.
Absolutely.
So once McElwain, if he had already won a national championship and done this, there might be some detractors who say shouldn't do that, but it wouldn't be the national story I think it is right this minute. Frankly, there's some folks that seem to have made a much bigger deal out of it than they should have, because I can almost assure you that every great coach and some good coaches and bad coaches have done the exact same thing to players when they need it. And frankly, to do the throat slash symbol, to me, he should have been yelled at, not for doing the throat slash and its symbolism, but because it's a little dated. Hey, get up with the time. If you're going to do something that's going to be that profane, to steal your word, then why don't you come up with a new symbol or something? And because, frankly, the throat slash went out about 4 or 5 years ago.
And the other thing is, I guess if you're up 72-0, it might be somewhat appropriate, even though it's
Exactly.
still wrong. But you're barely up by a touchdown or two, and you're barely beating a team that you really should be throttling. There's really no need to gloat.
Yeah, that you were favored by 20.
Exactly.
And again, I was just making light of the situation, but it's one of those things where Kelvin Taylor needs to know better, and he shouldn't have to have Jim McElwain crawl all over him like that to know he needs to know better. He should have known better coming into this thing. That's my whole point, and I feel like it was deserved. And really, to me, this is one of the great drawbacks to everybody having a cell phone. I don't think it's fair to Kelvin Taylor. I don't think it's fair to Jim McElwain that both of them were viewed that way, and because of that. We don't have to know everything as fans. I know that lots of times, the deeper I get into college football and see the inner workings, the more I wish I didn't know. Because it's so much more fun sometimes just be a fan and know that Jim McElwain was trying to do the right thing. And I think Kelvin Taylor has recognized that. Like you said with his tweet, he said, hey, I love Coach McElwain and I'm not going anywhere.
I would agree. As an employer, you realize that when you have to discipline an employee, you bring them in a room and you do it privately and you don't embarrass them in front of other people. But as a football coach, in that instant, you have to make your point, and you don't necessarily have that luxury of pulling the guy aside and doing it in a, quote, more respectful way behind closed doors to where you're not embarrassing. But, that's football. You mess up, you're going to be disciplined. I mean, frankly, he put him right back in the game. And so he's pretty lucky that he was able. So he did what he had to do, he said what he had to say, and they moved on.
Well, and also, if you don't sometimes catch somebody right after the act, then whatever discipline you have for them may lose some of its effect. I mean, they may not make the correlation quite so easily. So, you know what? I was all for McElwain. Obviously, I wish he'd clean the language up a little bit, but I'm going to give him somewhat of a pass, and frankly, I think that this will play well with parents, to be honest with you, on the recruiting trail. Dr. Paul Goldhagen, man, so glad that you're out here with us.
Thank you.
Very knowledgeable about sports, even more knowledgeable about bones and joints, which is really what we want him to be knowledgeable about. All right, we'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
Straight talk from Hyundai of Auburn.
What are these? The Hyundai Deluxe features that come standard. They're not add-ons like some other brands. Be careful. Some dealers advertise low base prices when what matters is the price equipped like you want it. So compare equipped, not stripped. You'll discover the full Hyundai value advantage. These are just the advantages of Sonata. Impressive, aren't they? Do your own research. Explore today in person or visit HyundaiofAuburn.com. You owe it to yourself.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Don't you know there's no clean like peaches and clean?
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Color suck fat Peaches and Clean.
Man, that house salad looks good.
Dude, it's so good.
How about one bite for the road?
No.
Sharing is caring.
No. You can't have any of my salad, bro.
Wait, I got it right here.
I got $20 in a dream, yeah.
Well, that's a hit right there, dude.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
The House Salad. Grilled chicken atop mixed greens, cucumbers, Roma tomatoes, cheddar and jack cheeses, and fried onions. Served with Texas toast. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
What's the #1 pontoon in the world for look and performance? It's Manitou. With V-Tune technology that delivers more speed and dominates handling, all with the comfort, style, and luxury that tops the pontoon industry. Lakeside Marina on Lake Martin is the #1 Manitou pontoon dealer in the state of Alabama, with superior pricing and service after the sale. Get invoice pricing on remaining 14s and see the 15 models in stock. And Lakeside is your Kawasaki personal watercraft dealer with a huge selection. Make sure to see our new used super center up the road and find out why Lakeside Marina is #1 for a reason. For over 30 years, Tallapoosa Ford has been your family-owned auto dealer for hot trucks and SUVs. Now they're raising the bar even higher. The Ford F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America for the last 38 years. And the hot new 15s are hitting the scene, and Tallapoosa Ford and Ford trucks are #1 for a reason. America's best truck, combined with our award-winning service department for the region's best warranty work and great maintenance and service.
Hello, this is Jeff with Tallapoosa Ford. Ford trucks have led America's truck sales. Come by today and get your best deal on America's best truck. We don't want all the business, just the opportunity to earn yours.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Man, what a fun segment with Dr. Paul Goldhagen. He really is a cool guy. And He loves his Florida Gators, and so it was just coincidental that we had penciled him in for tonight, and that whole thing with Florida went on. Scott, really quickly, Scott Hardy, everybody, not Dr. Paul Goldhagen, not Brett Pritchard, but Scott Hardy here with us tonight on Sports Blitz Live. Scott, really quickly, before we get into our players of the week for the week, do you know the 4 teams that are leading the SEC in passing? Take a wild stab.
Missouri, Kentucky, A&M, and LSU.
Okay, you 0 for 4. It's Arkansas, Ole Miss, Florida, and Alabama. What kind of odds would you have gotten preseason to say those 4 teams would be leading the conference in passing after 2 games? And I don't care who they've played. Florida last year was a train wreck, a dumpster fire at quarterback. Ole Miss, post Bo Wallace, you think, well, look, it can't get worse maybe, but still, even with Laquan Treadwell and the like, you don't think that they're going to be up there in the top. Arkansas, all we talked about was how they run the ball every time. They've got several more yards passing than they do rushing. And then Alabama with Jake Coker, for all the curse words thrown his way, some of them by me. I mean, Alabama's doing pretty well in the passing department. I just thought that was a very odd stat I saw today.
Yeah, and I know we'll dive into college football here in a little
Please,
little
and
bit.
by the way, please, I'm sorry, Scott, I don't mean to interrupt you, but please stay here long enough for me to talk to you about what you said on the show previous to this one about Auburn could have scored at will against Jacksonville State. Yes, that's what you said. Those words fell out of your mouth.
It came out inappropriately, but what I was saying was when they needed to score, it seemed like the offense ran pretty smoothly. I'll say that the last drive of the game.
You are not making this better.
No, the last drive of the game when they go down to score, even the drive before that when Rock Thomas fumbled, because they would have scored that drive. I mean, Peyton Barber was consistently getting 4 to 5 yards a carry, and they were running the offense, I think, the way that most people expected it to go. Anyway, let's do the players of the week.
Let's do the players of the week, because really, you're not helping your case here. First of all, we'll do our Alabama National Guard Sports Blitz Lee County Player of the Week, and that's Stephen Harris from Lochapoka. The sophomore quarterback accounted for all 3 of the Indians' touchdowns, with 2 passing and 1 running. He also threw for 3 2-point conversions in Lochapoka's 24-20 win over Verbena. That may be what Alabama starts doing, is just throwing for 2-point conversions and going for it instead of kicking field goals.
Yeah, and keeping along those lines, the Alabama National Guard Lake Martin Area Player of the Week is Tevin Brooks from Tallahassee. The Tiger product picked up a big win over Shelby County, and Brooks had a very large role in that. He carried the ball 14 times for 235 yards, averaging nearly 17 yards per carry, and scored six touchdowns in Tallahassee's 44-28 victory.
The Kenneth Ingram Jr. personal injury attorney, Sportz Blitz Montgomery Area Player of the Week, wow, that's a lot to get out of there, is Malik Cunningham from Park Crossing. Cunningham completed 19 of 28 passes for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns in Park Crossing's 37-10 win over Wetumpka. He also ran for 2 touchdowns.
The Russell Building Supply and Russell Do It Center ASSA Radio Network Player of the Week is DeQuay Houston of Gardendale, finished with 154 rushing yards and 4 scores to lead the Rockets to a dominating win against Pinson Valley.
Alabama National Guard Russell County Player of the Week is Jackson Carson of Central Phoenix City. The junior running back helped the Red Devils defeat Robert E. Lee 39-20 last Thursday night, and that Robert E. Lee team is getting a lot better, so that's a big win.
That can be said for a lot of the Montgomery schools, as Jeff Davis picks up a big win last week against Auburn. But wrapping things up, the U.S. Ameribank Lake Martin Sports Roundup Player of the Week is N'Kobe Maxwell from Benjamin Russell. He rushed 21 times for 130 yards with a touchdown and caught 2 passes for 59 yards with a touchdown to help the Wildcats defeat Eufaula homecoming 35-7.
And our last Player of the Week is our newest Player of the Week award, and that's Reputation on the Line Player of the Week. And this could also be called Homer Player of the Week, I think. It's Peyton Barber of the Auburn Tigers. He finished with 23 rushes for 125 yards and the game-winning TD in overtime as Auburn escaped with a win versus Jacksonville State on Saturday.
Escapes is such a strong word.
Because it's not strong enough.
But I will
fought.
I know that I don't know how much longer we're going to be here, so I will say
we're going to be here for a minute. Josh B's not coming on to 7:36. I'm going to give you a platform to try and make sense out of what you're saying.
All right, Jeremy Johnson, coming into the season, obviously a lot of Auburn fans, whether you were the kind that, half empty, half full, whatever it may be, a lot of people thought that Jeremy Johnson was going to be the key to a successful season. He, along with Muschamp, I thought would be the jam to our jelly, and we'll be able to get a little bit of success there, Luke. But apparently it hasn't really looked that great the first couple of games. But again, from a strategic standpoint, if you're just watching how the game's being played, they're more defensive. I know that sounds crazy, but they're just more defensive backs than what we've ever faced since he's been at Auburn. And this offense looks more like what he ran at Tulsa compared to what he's run here, because he hasn't had a quarterback where he felt comfortable enough, I think, to pass the ball as many times as he has, because Cam wasn't throwing it this much. This is more like a Chris Todd type of offense, more so than what you would expect with Jeremy Johnson or a Nick Marshall. So, again, I'm not that concerned. That's the phrase that I'm going to stick with. I'm not that concerned because we're 2-0. I'm not going to say Auburn is 2-0, and they've had poor play from quarterback play. So,
okay, first of all, I think you put it right. You said he's the jam to your jelly. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well,
that's about what it's been like. Two things that really don't go together. They're kind of the same, but they don't go together. I think that makes some sense. But let me put it to you a couple ways. First of all, and I had made a conscious decision. Look, I'm not going to go off the rails here about this because as an Alabama fan, look, we lost to Northern Illinois, lost to Louisiana Monroe, Louisiana Tech. I mean, we've certainly had our fair share of embarrassing moments. This would have been, arguably, the biggest upset in college football history.
No, what? Come on, Luke.
I'm not saying this by myself. This is what national people say. Scott, the biggest upset in college football history is Appalachian State over Michigan. Michigan was ranked number 5. Auburn is ranked number 6, and they're in the toughest conference in the country. And they were a higher point favored than Appalachian State, Michigan. And Jacksonville State has nobody. I mean, I think that Appalachian State team would roll over this Jacksonville State team.
All right, we'll
but let's go ahead and take a phone call. Hey, caller, you're on Sportz Blitz.
Yeah, Mr. Robinson. I'm a straight-out Auburn fan. I just want to get your opinion on the defense line and the secondary and the offensive line. What are they going to do with the little Herschel Walker, Emmitt Smith running back from LSU this weekend?
Thanks for your phone call. We'll talk about that. You're talking about Leonard Fournette. First of all, Rudy Ford, he came out and said, stopping Leonard Fournette, no big whoop. He's just leading the conference in rushing. Granted, it's only been one game. But I think universally Leonard Fournette is considered an all-SEC, maybe All-American, and maybe Heisman contender type guy. Frankly, I think at the end of the season last year, he was the best running back in the conference. Nick Chubb was right there, too. I mean, you couldn't go wrong either way. I don't know. How's Auburn going to stop him? The one thing I would say that's on Auburn's side, I love Montravius Adams. I think Montravius Adams is playing like gangbusters. He's all SEC if you ask me. But I'll say this, and Justin Mosley, our producer, brought this stat out to me before the show. Auburn went on talking about Louisville and how they're going to be really good this year, et cetera. They lose to Houston, at home.
Tom Herman's offensive
coordinator. I'm just telling you,
orchestrated the win against Bama.
I'm just telling you they lost to them.
Okay.
So they lost to them, and guess how many times Louisville rushed against Auburn? 48 times for 236 yards. Guess how many times they rushed? How many yards they rushed for against Houston? 29 times for 36 yards, Scott. So I mean, I'm just telling you that there may be bigger problems.
Game plans are. I mean, I don't know. You got to take each game. Anyway, I'm getting fired up. I hope we can.
I want you fired up. You need to be fired. But see, why are you fired up at me? You should be fired up
because I'm not that concerned. I mean, defensively, I would rather our troubles. As long as Gus Malzahn has been offensive coordinator, offense has not been a problem. Whether it's been Arkansas, Tulsa, Arkansas State, Auburn, wherever it's been.
But these two games don't concern you?
No, because if you look back at 2013, Washington State, we nearly lost that game. Second game, didn't play that well. Third game, you lose to LSU on the road. It's very similar. 2010, start the season off the same way. We really don't know what we have. People were talking about Cam not playing. South Carolina, he has his big run for the dive. Everything changes. There needs to be something dynamic. We haven't seen anything dynamic from Jeremy Johnson. He's a serviceable quarterback right now, which is not what you need him to be or what Auburn fans or the coaching staff, I think, invested in Jeremy Johnson as being the guy.
Well, I'm going to say you did hit the nail on the head for me. That is the one thing about all this that scares me to death as an Alabama fan. Because the minute you start doubting Auburn is when they turn it on. And so I'm always at a crossroads with Auburn. when they're picked to do so well, I don't like it, but I'm scared to say anything about it because I know if they're picked to do well, they generally don't. And then when they start not doing well, I try to revel in that, and I think, uh-oh, this is when they start to do well. So it wouldn't surprise me in the least. I know this goes contrary to everything I've been saying up to this point. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Auburn went down to LSU and won by 21 points this weekend.
Well, let's see what this caller has to say because I hope he agrees with what you just said.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Hey.
Hey, I want to talk about Gus Malzahn for a second.
Okay.
Scott, I kind of want, I guess, talk to Scott a little bit, but does he get on your nerves any of that? I mean, Gus has pretty much flat out lied to us. He lied about the players being healthy, and even after the game Saturday, I mean, he pumped so much sunshine that I mean, it was ridiculous. He couldn't just come out and say, "Hey, we played horrible." He was trying to make every excuse in the world for Jeremy Johnson and other guys.
Well, I'll say that I think what's happening with Gus, and I think it's because Jeremy Johnson had so much expectation placed on him, which does place more expectation on the Auburn team and the offense, which is guided by Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashua. So they're the ones that are going to have to take the most heat, not Jeremy, I think. Having said that, I think he's trying to show off his new toy a little too much. When is the last time you've seen a Gus Malzahn offense throw the ball 31 times? That just doesn't happen. Now, you have a player that can do so, but we've obviously seen what a back you have in Peyton Barber, who ultimately is going to be the starter, it looks like. I think Rock Thomas's fumble late in the game cost him there. But, JC, I know that you're an avid caller. What do you think are the odds that Auburn has a good game offensively Saturday? Because I think defensively we kind of know what's going to have to happen. You get Trey Matthews back. You do get Lawson back. So we'll see what happens there. But offensively, what do you think needs to happen?
Well, I mean, you know, it's so weird. You were kind of talking about it a little bit, but I was at the game Saturday too, and when Auburn got down there in scoring position, I mean, you know, that final drive to tie it, I mean, they were so calm. It was amazing. So I don't know if but last year you look and Jeremy's played in pressure situations, and he's performed well. So who knows what Saturday is going to look like. But I agree, it's nice to have Peyton Barber as your number one back. We know that. Hopefully Avery Young will be back. This offensive line looked horrible against Jacksonville State.
I don't want to call out anybody, but Sean Coleman, he has not played that well. And I thought maybe after last season he'd maybe step up and having a year of play, but that's one position in particular that's definitely costing us. Golson, same way.
And JC, I want you to comment on this too, because I know you're going to know what I'm talking about. You know I'm a big defender of officials. I probably shouldn't be, but I'm one of those guys that says there's nothing worse than people who always blame the officials. They miss a call because they miss calls all the time. Auburn fans, to me, have lost every right to ever complain about officials again after 12 men on the field and a legal formation against Ole Miss last year. Then, this year, in the touchdown pass that could have changed the game, the pass to Rock Thomas for a touchdown, Sean Coleman almost took LaMichael Fanning's shirt off. And the official was right there and just didn't call it. But you know what? It's part of the game. He missed the call. Nobody needs to have a fit over it. Auburn fans don't need to say anything about it.
But when the
Alabama
calls
fans don't
consistently go against you,
how did the calls? You know, Alabama's more penalized than Auburn is. I mean, a lot of teams are. It's just one of those things. That was clear, undebatable holding, and it may have cost Jacksonville State the game. And it's hard to deny that. So that's my point. If we all get calls against us and all get calls for us, maybe we should all stop talking about it.
JC,
I know, but it's a nice excuse to play off of.
That's a good. Hey, well, you know what? I appreciate the honesty. Yeah. I do. I appreciate you. Thank you, JC. We got to roll.
Hey, feel free to say hey.
We'll do it, man. That was JC calling in and talking a little Auburn football, and JC knows that I rib him sometimes, and you too. I mean, you did it the other night. You were talking about the BRHS game, and I said, there's nothing worse than people blaming officials and saying they missed this call. They miss calls. That's what they do. Do we really want them to get every call right all the time? Because if they do, they'll call holding all the time. There'll be little ticky-tack stuff, and the games will take forever.
In my defense, before I step away, I will say this. On a high school broadcast, as the home team announcers, I think it is our responsibility a little bit to be on the side of our players, no matter what's happening. Now, granted, you can't say everything that happens is because of the officials, but I will say it's a little more shadowed on that side of it. But I will say that was a hold, obviously, by Coleman. But you're right. I say it when I think it benefits the argument.
Can I tell you, before we go to break, I had to listen to the Auburn broadcast of the Jack State game on the way up. And, wow, Stan White. This is a quote now. Stan White said Sean Coleman did such a great job of letting go of his man just in time. And I thought to myself, as many times as he's called for a hold for Jacksonville State, this whole broadcast to say, because I didn't know what it looked like at the time, and then I got to see the replay and saw how egregious it was. Anyway, that's going to take us to a break. When we come back, we'll have Josh Bean from AL.com to talk about high school football from this past week and what's coming up this Friday night. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.
"2015 is a new year, and the rules for FHA loans have changed.
If you currently have an FHA loan, call Home Place Mortgage today.
Right now, we can refinance your current FHA mortgage without an appraisal.
Your interest rate will reduce, and so will your monthly mortgage insurance.
Call us today to start saving in 2015.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or a truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
For 115 years, Alliant Bank has built a strong foundation of outstanding customer service. Now, U.S. AmeriBank is building on that foundation with Craft Banking. U.S. AmeriBank's mission is to create handcrafted solutions that perfectly suit your needs and goals. With these financial strengths and convenient banking tools of U.S. AmeriBank, your hometown bank is now even stronger. Alliant is now U.S. AmeriBank, and we're built on values and forging into the future. Visit usameribank.com or any branch for Craft Banking solutions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Big trucks control our highways with little to no regard for the rest of us. The U.S. Department of Transportation estimates that over 500,000 wrecks occur each year involving big trucks. If you or a loved one have been hit and injured by a big truck, then don't wait any longer. Call me today. I'll stand up to these big truck companies, and I will fight for you.
What are you waiting for? Call Kenneth Ingram Jr. now.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the Big Box Store. Say, where have you been? I've been looking for you.
Well, Box, I've been at the job site measuring for some new windows and doors.
Oh, you mean the website?
No, I mean the job site where the house is actually under construction.
Oh, we could never actually leave the store and go to a job site.
That makes you a little short on service, doesn't it?
Service, free delivery, and price match guarantee. 9 locations serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson here. Now with Josh Bean of AL.com. He is the managing producer, and he handles all the high school sports, does such a fantastic job. We have him on every Friday night on the AHSA Scoreboard Show. Josh, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Hope you're well.
Doing really well. Doing fantastic now that football season in full swing, especially on the high school side where, we've got week 4 or 5 coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big weekend. You know, we had a 1 versus 2 last week. We have a number of games this week where there will be 2 ranked teams. So this will definitely be a fun weekend. And you mentioned the 1 versus 2 last week. Obviously, that was Jackson hosting St. Paul's, and Jackson gets the better of that when the number 2 team wins it. They will obviously be number 1 now that the polls will be coming out. And how did Jackson handle St. Paul so easily? Because frankly, I think the final score was 23-7. I doubt anybody would have predicted that. Yeah, you know, St. Paul's turned the ball over, and we all know that's not what you want to do in a big game. You know, the turnovers were a big. That was really the storyline of the ball game, and you know, you look at it from a couple of different perspectives. Was it St. Paul's making mistakes, or was it Jackson simply making some plays to cause those turnovers? Probably a combination of both. You know, St. Paul's had to go on the road. That is a long road trip from Mobile up to Jackson. To give the Aggies some credit, you know, they ended that long losing streak. I mean, that long winning streak that St. Paul's had. And you know, St. Paul's coach Steve Matt said after the game that maybe losing the game will let his guys be a little looser. You know, he certainly implied that they felt some pressure to keep that winning streak going.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I want to talk about the rise of Hillcrest Tuscaloosa's Brian Robinson. This is a guy that really out of nowhere, he burst on the national recruiting scene, and he's getting offers from the likes of Georgia and now Alabama has gotten in the mix. He rushed for 447 yards against Clay Chalkville. What do you like that he brings to the table?
Well, you know, last year, late in the year, in the playoffs, he was a guy that started making some noise, you know, started making some big plays. You know, really that's the thing that stands out about him is he makes a lot of big plays. And when you roll up more than 400 yards on a defending state champ, you know, whether you've been to that school's camp or not, I think it makes college coaches stand up and notice. He was already a 4-star guy. I think that it was clear he was going to be a very high-level prospect. But these last couple of weeks after that performance against Clay Chalkville, you're right, it has really accelerated for him. And, you know, he's a guy with good size. You know, he's over 200 pounds. He's very explosive, so you see the speed. I'm not sure what he's been collecting the 40, but boy, when you watch his film, he just runs away from people.
The Montgomery area is a place that we've always clamored to have a renaissance, and they may be having that renaissance now. But the weird thing is it doesn't involve Carver. Carver seems to be having a little bit of an off year. Meanwhile, some of the other teams like your Jeff Davis and your Robert E. Lees, et cetera, they appear to be getting back on the right track.
It really is interesting. You know, Carver's been, as you mentioned, that's been the school that's been the most consistent. That's the team that's put together 7 or 8 years now of winning. Of course, you know, some of that was during the Jeremy Johnson era, and he ended up winning Mr. Football. But they've been able to continue that. You see Jeff Davis, I think they're 4-0 for the first time since 1994. For somebody like me, it's hard to believe that was 20 years ago, but it really was. So that's a team, you know, that's having a lot of success. They play that Lee team that you mentioned. They got off to the 2-0 start. They play on Thursday night at Crampton Bowl. That'll be a really interesting game to see what happens. And then how about Park Crossing? It's only in their 2nd year of playing football, and they are also undefeated. They're ranked. That's a team that is you know, starting to look like a team that could really make some noise once the playoffs get here.
I know there's some dynamite matchups this Friday night, not the least of which is in the Mobile area with Spanish Fort and Saraland. What are some other big ones?
Yeah, you know, that Spanish Fort Saraland game should be a great one. Those teams that, you know, that played twice last year. Of course, Saraland won the playoff game in the state semifinals and went on and played Clay Chalkville for the 6A championship game. You know, up in North Alabama, of course, we have Bob Jones will play Gadsden City on Friday night, and Buckhorn and James Clemens play on Thursday night. Both those games will happen in the same stadium, so if you're in the Huntsville area, you can go to the same place 2 nights in a row, see 4 teams that are ranked in the top 10 of 7A. That's pretty cool. And, small school-wise, Linden and Maple will play this week, and that should be a well of a game.
Josh, thanks so much for being with us, and we'll definitely see you this Friday night, and there'll be a ton to talk about, no doubt about it.
Always appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
That was Josh Bean from AL.com, does a wonderful job. Go check him out. Always got lots of fabulous articles up. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process, from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
At Bone and Joint Specialists, there is no better feeling than to know that we have helped make someone's life better. Orthopedic surgeons Dr. Paul Goldhagen and Dr. Martha George treat all injuries and conditions related to your bones, joints, and muscles for both adults and pediatric patients, while specializing in arthritis and sports medicine. 256-329-9133 or visit us online at bonesandjoints.com. Alexander City, Wetumpka, Sylacauga, and Dadeville. Bone and Joint Specialists, getting you back into the game of life.
When a medical issue requires home health service, you or your loved one should expect the best.
Hello, this is Pam Tidwell with Lake Martin Home Health. We make everything we do all about you. With multiple offices in the area, we are always close to you, and our dedication is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call us at 256-397-1440 or ask your physician for a Lake Martin Home Health referral today. We make the difference because we care.
The countdown is over and boating season is here, so now is the time to really know what the locals know. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South are ready for prime time with an all-time high selection of 2015 Landau pontoons. Landau pontoons offer the industry's most stylish and comfortable rear split loungers and unsurpassed tri-tune performance. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South, the pros the locals know, and Alabama's #1 Landau pontoon dealer.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson here. No guests and no co-host right at the moment, but we're going to have one here in just a minute. We're going to have one of both here in just a minute. Is Brandy Ratliff from Rebel Walk will be on to talk about the Alabama Ole Miss game. Brett Pritchard will be back here to talk about all things football. A couple of things I wanted to clarify just before we go to this next break, and then we bring Brandy Ratliff on. A couple of things. First of all, or not clarify, but just bring to light, you may not have heard, Josh Hoseley is out for the year for Auburn. He tore his ACL in this game against Jacksonville State, so best wishes to that young man. It's the second time he's torn his ACL. He could get a medical red shirt and come back and play for another year, but that is yet to be determined if he'll go that route. Sometimes kids like to come on out and try their luck in the draft, or when you've hurt your knee twice, maybe who knows what's going to happen there. But best of luck in his recovery, certainly. Then Auburn's injuries. Otherwise, Carl Lawson, it looks like he'll be back for the LSU game. Don't know if that's 100% just yet. Same thing with Avery Young. Not sure if he's going to be back, as Brett Pritchard will be joining me here in just a second, as I can see him walking right behind me, or right behind the camera, I should say. And we are going to, hang on one second. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live. Oh, we have a caller. Okay, I'm trying to get all these signals here, guys. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and do this. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
James, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. Listen, did Jacksonville State get another $500,000 to the coach for calling them a couple of plays at the end of the game?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you what, Jacksonville State, they really did get a bargain there, because they probably got more in marketing and PR than Auburn could have paid them. They got more than that Jumbotron was worth in PR. There is no doubt about it. People have talked about Jacksonville State over and over and over again, and I don't know that they could have done any better for themselves.
Let me go ahead and preface my thing. We will beat LSU. We'll beat Mississippi State. It's not because of us. It's because they got more problems than we got. And LSU got the same problem that everybody else in the SEC got. They got skills, they got athletes, but I just don't think they have coaching. For some reason, these quarterbacks or whatever is not panning out. And that's a problem for the SEC when you're paying all these coaches all these millions of dollars and you're not getting enough out of these players. You take Auburn, for instance. You got Cowell sitting over there on the sideline. You know you're going to need him later on in the season. Why don't you just put him in there and let him play? Look at the kid from Phoenix City going to Louisville. These guys are playing, man. Freshmen are playing. And our system can't be that much difficult than anybody else's system. Let these kids play. But we will be LSU. And Brett, like I told you once before, my man, if Gus Malzahn don't add no passing routes, we can holler Jeremy all we want. You got Duke Williams got two routes, cross the middle and a slant.
I totally agree.
Don't you send Ricardo Lewis cross the middle. Send somebody else cross the middle. Do something else, man. You got to add some routes to a passing attack, or you got to let Jeremy run a little bit. If you don't let him run a little bit, you taking away from your offense, and you got to help your offensive line out, because your offensive line is not that good right now. You have to call plays to help them out. And I hear him talking about getting number 4 in the game more.
Jason
now
Smith.
You got other athletes you need to try to get in the game more.
I totally agree.
I mean, get more action going forward. And you said the same thing about Corey Grant last year. We got to figure out a way to get him get him more action. Well, come on, man. You've been dealing with this problem for years. Get the guys involved like these other schools are getting their playmakers involved.
I totally agree, James. You're spot on. We appreciate your call.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead. You're on Sportz Blitz. Hey, caller, you with us?
You with us?
You there?
Yeah, we're here. Go ahead.
Roll.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good. That's good. First time caller, Auburn fan, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
What exactly do you think Auburn's problem is? I don't know if, Jeremy Johnson been putting too much pressure or...
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to talk about that. I just got here, and I'm going to discuss that. Luke and I are going to talk about a lot of things, but I'm going to just keep us tuned in right here. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael, where are you calling from, Michael?
Somerville, Alabama.
Well, we appreciate you calling, and thank you for watching us. Okay.
Okay, I'll watch you every week, and I appreciate y'all too.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I will address that. And, as I just sit down and, you weren't getting the audibles real
Well,
good.
I tell you, when you're looking right here and he's doing this and you're over there and everybody's doing everything, I felt like Jeremy Johnson. I threw it right to the linebacker.
You threw it right. He's like, I'm just going to throw it in the middle. But, look, Andy and I on Sports Call Day, and I'll start here. I brought up, and I hadn't thought about this until this afternoon. I said, let me just pull up the highlights from Arkansas first half last year, and Jesse Palmer in the first half was talking about what a freak of nature Jeremy Johnson was, and he was SEC Freshman of the Week twice in 2013 when he had to come in for Nick Marshall and play, and just looked so in. And I went back and looked at all that film, Luke, and I remember that's the Jeremy Johnson I remember playing for Carver High School that you and I saw, and we called from a freshman. You and I went and stood on the sideline at Auburn High School that night, and Carver got down by 17 points on the road, and Jeremy Johnson was either a freshman or sophomore that night.
Sophomore.
And just calmly brought them back and won the ball game. And I think that was a #1 ranked Auburn High School team. And so I'm just so unbelievably blown away by all of the things building up, and all of that resume is where the hype came from for Auburn this year. And you said on Saturday Sports Countdown while I was on the way to the game, I heard you and Scott talking, and you said, "Look, I'm all about players, and I'm all about." And you were talking about Joey Galloway just being an absolute hater on Alabama, and haters are going to hate and all this kind of stuff. But it shows that you cannot be objective when you take a guy like, let me just say, it was Trent Richardson, for example, and I just came on here every week after Trent Richardson ran for 200 yards and did all that at Alabama. I'd say, Trent Richardson ain't very good. I would be a fool. I would lose credit. Well, you said I would be a fool to say that Jeremy Johnson's not good, and you were like, I actually like Jeremy Johnson. He's a great player. So take all your glasses off as far as your team. Let's look at the individual. He's an unbelievable football player right now that is just has no confidence, is struggling mightily, and I think Gus Malzahn hit the nail on the head with himself. How about help him a little bit? How about let's do some different stuff than the same old junk over and over? Because frankly, as an Auburn fan, I'm tired of the play calling. If Gus Malzahn is such an offensive genius and guru, then let's show some different stuff. Let's show some imagination. Let's show some screens and some draw plays and some reverses and some different things to keep teams off balance. But everything is so predictable. Jeremy may be predictable, Luke, and he's throwing these interceptions. I know he has to be responsible, but the play calling has as much to do with that to me right now as it does any player on that field.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that Gus Malzahn's not catching enough heat nationally.
I totally agree
right now.
with that.
I mean, he should be catching a lot more than this, because it doesn't just go back to he's getting a pass, I think, partially because he did so well against Alabama last year, too. And I say did so well. Yeah. They scored 44, but they got 7 of those when the game was over. It was done. And Alabama ended up scoring 55. But for some reason, he got a lot of credit for that. Didn't look good against Wisconsin. Didn't look great at A&M.
Looked terrible at Georgia.
Georgia looked terrible. I mean, he needs to be catching more heat. He's making enough money where he can take it.
No, I'm with you there. Colin, go ahead. You're on Sports Blitz. Hey, Colin.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Brett and Luke, appreciate you taking my call. This is Craig. Just wanted to make a comment about what you were saying about the play calling.
Okay.
I'm so sick and tired of seeing the same 2 run plays. You either run to the left or right, and it's the exact same play. And then, that one long pass play that we had for a touchdown, that's the only play option. I mean, that we ran the whole game.
And it was wide open.
Wide open.
I mean,
why do we not do it again?
I don't know. And look, here's the ironic thing is all the Alabama fans and all the other fans SEC were just, in Arkansas really, just hammering Auburn and Ole Miss for up-tempo. Well, where's our up-tempo? Nobody can accuse Auburn of going fast anymore. If that was our mantra, then we lost it somewhere along the way, because the last thing we do is run fast anymore. So if that was our bread and butter, and we're not doing that anymore, and we're still trying to run the same offense, it's not working. So I'm all in the boat. Look, Jeremy Johnson is a kid still, and we are hard on these kids because they have high expectations. But I believe in Jeremy Johnson, and I still believe in Jeremy Johnson because I know what my eyes told me for 5 years in high school and what Jeremy Johnson did his first year and a half at Auburn. I know what he's capable of. Something's wrong with him. Now, he needs some help from his coaching staff and his players on his team, on the offense. I don't know what it is. I'm not giving him a pass for making bad decisions, but Jeremy Johnson overnight just didn't become a terrible football player. Something is causing all of this, and he's confused, and they need to figure out what they need to do to help him.
I agree with you 100%. You know, I mean, the only thing, going back to what you said earlier, you know, the amount of plays that we ran back in 2010 and just no, you know, check-in every time at the line. I am so sick of them overlooking at the sideline and saying, like, what are we going to run now? Well, I mean, you only got two, you know, run plays.
Left or right.
Flip a coin.
Plays with, you know where they're going to be running the ball. So, I mean, I'm sick and tired of the play call.
Well,
I appreciate you taking it.
Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll continue to take your calls throughout the show, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Before we go to break, Luke, you know this from me as an Auburn fan. I'm a homer. You're a homer. But I'll call it like it is. All right, I don't make things rosy when they're not rosy. And they're not rosy at Auburn. And it should be. Let me just preface that. It should be. You were the team that was predicted to win the SEC this year. How about live up to some expectations? How about not have to go into overtime with Jacksonville State? And I know we got a lot of Jacksonville State fans out there, and I'm not cutting you at all because that team played a great game. They got great players over there. They're number one in FCS. But when you're a 40-point favorite at home, you need to go out and take care of business. And that's the thing that's bugged me as an Auburn fan the last 6 years. It's up here, and then it's way down here. It's up here, and it's way down here. Why can't we just find a streamline? I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but Georgia fans, look, I would much rather be on your streamline than the roller coaster I'm on, okay? Because we're just as apt to go 13-1 as we are 3-9. And so I don't think this we need to all kind of take a step back. We'll see what happens this week against LSU. But as the weeks go on, we need to see improvement. We don't need to see us regress a little bit.
Well, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll have Southern Girl Rebel, better known as Brandy Ratliff, on with us. And she is from the Rebel Walk. She does a fantastic job. We'll be back in just a minute with more of Sports Blitz Live.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
For 115 years, Alliant Bank has built a strong foundation of outstanding customer service. Now, U.S. AmeriBank is building on that foundation with Craft Banking. U.S. AmeriBank's mission is to create handcrafted solutions that perfectly suit your needs and goals. With these financial strengths and convenient banking tools of U.S. AmeriBank, your hometown bank is now even stronger. Alliant is now U.S. AmeriBank, and we're built on values and forging into the future. Visit usameribank.com or any branch for Craft Banking solutions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, S&S Tires has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Brown Nursing Home is welcoming the new year with an expansion of our rehab department to include an additional treatment room and addition of a full kitchen. We offer physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If a serious injury or illness has taken you away from home, let our therapy team assist you in returning home to independent living. We also offer long-term skilled nursing care. Come tour Brown Nursing Home at 2334 Washington Street in Alexander City.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. Whether you call in, click in, or walk in, I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson. And you know, social media can be such a wonderful thing, and it can make superstars out of just about anybody. And one of those people is Ms. Brandy Ratliff, who writes for the Rebel Walk. You can check it out at rebelwalk.com. She's on Twitter under the name @SouthernGirlRebel, but just search Twitter and you can find Brandy Ratliff, and she does a fantastic job, has many, many thousands of followers, and they all really respect and trust what she says. Very funny and very knowledgeable about all things Ole Miss. And with the Alabama-Ole Miss game coming up at 8:15 this Saturday night, we thought it'd be a good idea to have her back on the show. Brandy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Obviously, we had you on, or tried to have you on, the Talking Tuscaloosa podcast that I do with Jimmy Stein earlier today. Don't know if that's going to be successful or not, but we're going to try it. But, of course, big game coming up this weekend, Alabama versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss ranked number 15, Alabama number 2. Ole Miss had the huge upset victory over the Crimson Tide last year. And one of the stars of that game was Laramie Tunsil, who has sat out these first 2 games. Is there anything you can tell us? Do you think he'll be in this game this Saturday, or do you know any more than the rest of us?
I would love to say that he'll be in the game Saturday, but as of right now, I don't know any more than anyone else does. I mean, it's kind of a waiting game. The NCAA doesn't move very fast. So right now, as far as I know, there's no resolution.
The wide receiving core for Ole Miss has been pretty incredible so far, and I was surprised to see that Laquan Treadwell, who is incredibly dynamic, is not the first on the team when it comes to receiving yards or catches, etc. Those accolades go to Cody Core and to Quincy Adebojo. And what can you tell us about those 2 guys? Because I know everybody in this state knows about Laquan Treadwell. He had a fabulous game against Alabama, had a great game against Auburn until he had that horrific leg injury. But the other 2 guys we may not be as familiar with.
Well, I mean, tremendous athletes, both of them doing a great job for Ole Miss. I think you'll definitely be hearing their names a lot this season. They've really stepped up, going to make some big plays for us. I think they're going to really fill in those spots this year.
Ole Miss leads the conference in both in total offense and total defense, which is pretty astounding. It's an incredible feat. Which one of the 2 units do you think is stronger?
Definitely right now, looking at numbers, offense is where our strength is. We're the only team in the league to ever do 2 games with back-to-back, 70-plus scores. And I think since 1968, the only team in the nation that's done that. So offensively, we're looking really strong right now. I think it's a good balance on offense, and I think that's what you need to go against Alabama.
I think when you talk Ole Miss right now, you have to talk about the emergence of Chad Kelly. Did you have any idea this guy could be such an incredible quarterback coming into the SEC from the junior college?
Absolutely, absolutely. People in Mississippi, we keep up with not just our D1 schools, but we keep up with our junior college schools too. East Mississippi just won the national championship for JUCO, and Chad Kelly was quarterback. We knew what he was about. Everybody had a lot of excitement when we saw that he was going to be with Ole Miss, and he's definitely come to play and is doing a great job.
Meanwhile, just as surprisingly, I think, Ole Miss leads the conference in rushing, but their leading rusher only has 103 yards himself, which means they distribute the ball very well. What can you tell us about the running backs for the Rebels?
Well, I can definitely tell you that Hugh Freeze has said that they use the entire field this year, and they're doing a good job of that. They're distributing the ball. A lot of players are getting their hands on it. I mean, I just think our rushing game, I think we had 6 people touch the ball rushing and 5 called touchdowns so far, or maybe that was for Saturday. But it was just, we've got a lot of strength right there.
Okay, 8:15 game kickoff this Saturday night. Are you a fan? Do you think that'll have any effect on the game whatsoever?
That gives you all day to either worry over the outcome or build yourself up to go out for a win. What's the personality of each player? I don't know. I mean, there's going to be the players that are going to sit around all day and psych themselves out with fear on both sides of the game, on Alabama and Ole Miss, and there's going to be the players that are going to use it to psych themselves up. They're going to rest, they're going to think about it, and they're going to come out, you know, so pumped and ready to take the field. The 8:15, I mean, for the fans, it gets late, especially TV games, because you have all those timeouts for commercials. But I think the players, my experience with players is a lot of times they like the earlier games because they wake up and it's time. With the later games, it's a lot of sitting and waiting time. But, I mean, I think with this kind of game, you do need that time to concentrate and get your mind ready.
I know it's very difficult to glean any weaknesses from this Ole Miss team after 2 performances like they've had so far, but can you pick apart anything that may be perceived as a weakness from these last 2 games?
The only thing that I've looked at was defensively. I think we could use some improvement. We let Fresno score 21 points on us. You can't let Bama score 21 points. I mean, it just can't happen. I mean, once you start getting into high scoring with Bama, it's anybody's game. So hopefully our defense will be able to step in and really hold Alabama off and keep the numbers low. But I don't know. I think Alabama's such a tough team. You know, I mean, defensively, I think they're bringing back 7 starters on defense. Incredible depth. Just a team you respect when you go on that field because you know they're proven. You know they can come out there and demolish you if you don't play the game the right way. So I fully expect Ole Miss to come out prepared, and I fully expect Ole Miss to come out and take the win. But I fully expect Alabama to make us earn every single point on the board.
So just go ahead and give a prediction score, but I'll warn you, there's only been one team that has beaten Nick Saban in back-to-back years, and that's LSU in 2010 and 2011 in an absolute classic. So pick at your own risk.
I mean, I always pick Ole Miss. I have to believe in my team. I have to believe they can go out and win. I think it's going to be a one-possession game. I think it's whoever scores last is going to win.
Well, Brandy, thanks so much for being with us tonight. You do a wonderful job on Twitter, and really people should go out and follow you because you're funny, you're knowledgeable, and you do a fantastic job. And I know you've had a whirlwind media tour. It was Brandy Media Days today. So thanks for being with us.
Well, I am so glad you had me on, and I look forward to talking some more.
Well, we'll definitely have you back on when Ole Miss faces Auburn on Halloween night, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Brandy. That was Brandy Ratliff at Southern Girl Rebel on Twitter, and she does a great job. Go follow her as soon as you can. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.
Hi, I'm Sydney LaRue, a member of the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. I'm excited to partner with Nesquik to spread the word about the proper nutrition after a workout or game. Research suggests that low-fat chocolate milk, like Nesquik, contains the ideal mix of carbohydrates to protein that can help refuel and restore exhausted muscles. That's why I refuel my body with Nesquik after tough games and practices. Refuel with Nesquik.
Refuel with Nesquik, a proud supporter of Alabama high school athletics.
The countdown is over and boating season is here, so now is the time to really know what the locals know. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South are ready for prime time with an all-time high selection, a 2015 Landau pontoon. Landau pontoons offer the industry's most stylish and comfortable rear split loungers and unsurpassed tri-tune performance. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South, the pros the locals know, and Alabama's #1 Landau pontoon dealer.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or a truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together.
Now's the time to make a splash during the summer clearance event at Bice Motors. Get incredible summer savings on our entire inventory. Buy a new 2015 Chrysler 200 Limited for as low as $19,999. Save $4,800 on the purchase of a new 2015 Dodge Charger SXT. Or save over $6,000 on all Ram 1500 crew cab trucks. And nothing says summer fun like the all-new Jeep Renegade. Now in stock.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson along with Brett Pritchard. Now, man, it's been a helter-skelter kind of night.
You don't shove the quarterback in when the other quarterback's doing well. So it's your turn to run the offense tonight.
I thought we might do the little wildcat or something.
We can do that. I can slide in and.
All right. Well, look, we've talked plenty about the Auburn situation. I mean, we really could have spent 2 hours on it. And that's what's beautiful about football season, Brett. I mean, during the summer, we love all the Saturday down south stuff where you do some random, what would the 1981 Georgia team do against the blank Georgia team, whatever. But this, when the games actually happen and there's drama like this, is when it's fun.
I've got a fun little segment we'll do here. And in the next segment, we're going to have Jim Hardy, who's head coach of Victory Christian in Millbrook. And that's a 7-man football league, Luke. A lot of people don't know a lot about it, but they have there's a lot of teams in the state of Alabama that compete, and I think they're going. This may be their 4th year, and he's in his 4th year without a loss. This team, and he's actually got his quarterback. He's going to talk about that when he comes on with us. Pretty doggone good player. I mean, he's a big kid, can throw it around. So talk about that. But they did something really special for a special needs kid this past week, and I'm just great person in Jim and what he's done with his off organization, all that. But I want to do something fun here in this segment with us that I did with Andy on Sports Call today, and we're going to grade the SEC teams through 2 games because we did our preseason picks, and we kind of can remember who we picked. My team that I really rode into the season that I said that would really be good is Ole Miss. And so far, I mean, I know they haven't played tough competition, but they put 70 points on the board. That's a feat in itself to be able to just do that against air. I mean, so, but they've looked good doing it. Chad Kelly looks like he stepped in, is real comfortable. To me, that's a monstrous step up from Bo Wallace. Kandichi on offense is a freak of nature. So we'll go down the Western Division. We'll go down the East first, and then we'll go to the West, and I want your grade on these teams. And we'll start with the Florida Gators because that was a team that we both talked about going into the season. We just didn't feel like could do much better than about 5, maybe 6 wins, 6 at the best, 5 would be about where we thought they would be. So through 2 games, the Florida Gators, Jim McElwain, what would you grade the Gators?
Well, I think I'd have to give them a very solid B. I mean, There's still some concerns I have, but as I told Scott at the beginning of the show, you know the 4 teams that lead the conference in passing?
Give them to me.
Arkansas, Ole Miss, Florida, and Alabama.
Isn't that crazy?
And you could have taken a lot
and
of
what
money
is
out
Arkansas?
of
We'll get to Arkansas in a minute. What are they doing? I mean, everything's just all out of whack.
So but I would give Florida a solid B. I mean, you can't give them an A. There's still some issues there.
But I think Florida fans would be happy with a B.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it.
So, I mean, that's a good score. That's what I gave them on Sports Call. We'll go down to the Tennessee Vols next. Tennessee, 17-0 lead over Oklahoma. Blew the lead. You could kind of feel it tighten up when they missed the field goal. Oklahoma fought back, got the win in overtime. Butch Jones, though, making some strides, didn't get over that much-needed hump. I think we'd all be real high on Tennessee if they'd have gotten over that hump. Doesn't kill their season by no stretch, but your grade for Tennessee after 2 games.
All right, it might look like a cop-out, but I'm going to go incomplete because my initial reaction was B- because at least you took Oklahoma. But I
don't know how good Oklahoma is.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. This Oklahoma team didn't really wow me except for the last little bit of the game. Tennessee needs to learn to put that away. Tennessee, in my opinion, obviously had the better talent. Yeah. And I thought Butch Jones choked it away. Now, I could chalk it up to a few other things. Yeah, they missed a few calls, and this happened and that happened. But in the end, good teams make that game a win. And Tennessee may not be a good team.
And they just hadn't gotten there
If
yet.
I'm forced to put a grade, I'd say C+, B-, because really, Bowling Green, who ended up looking better against Maryland.
Played them tough.
But Bowling Green threw for all the yards they wanted.
I totally agree with that. So 2 down in the East. Let's go over to the South Carolina Gamecocks. This was a team, too, that we all felt like was scrambling going in, really not much star power. Kentucky goes on the road, gets their first true road win in quite some time. And that was one of their wins that we all gave South Carolina. So not good for the Gamecocks. Your grade?
I'm going to go C-, and that's
I gave them a D.
That's falling fast. And if they don't show better against Georgia, and the only reason I'm giving them a C- is based on the potential that whenever you start counting Steve Spurrier out in a moment like this, he might sneak up and beat a Georgia. And if he does that, their grade can be bumped up a little bit. But if they lose this game, I mean, you're looking at an F.
Well, let's go to Georgia since you talked about that. That's their next opponent, Georgia. Your thoughts on them? I don't really think their quarterback play's been all that great. I think he's average, but they do have some great running backs there. The defense is okay. Your grade for Georgia?
I don't think you can do any better with a B than a B, but I think that their B is different than Florida's B. Florida's B is trending upwards, and Georgia seems to be
they get a B-
at best hovering.
B- and a B+ for Florida.
Yeah.
There you go. That'd be one way to go. Next on the list is Missouri, the 2-time defending Eastern Division champions.
I mean, again, I'm going to give them a B- only because I hadn't seen a lot of them, first of all. I mean, they played a couple of also-rans, and then they didn't look that strong against Arkansas State. What are you doing going to Arkansas State?
Why are they going to Arkansas State?
But I'm going to say, B-, and I still feel like they have a shot to win the East. They're just one of those teams that just hangs around. Next thing you know, they're in Atlanta.
Last 2, really hard to call Kentucky cellar dwellers. They looked pretty good in their first 2 games. Go on the road and get a big win at South Carolina. They're 2-0. Your grade for Kentucky?
I'm going to give them a B as well. Again,
I went A for them. They went on the road, got a win, even though it wasn't South Carolina. It was South Carolina. I mean,
that's good for them. But see, I think you're grading on a curve then. And I'm saying they hadn't looked good enough to beat anybody else other than the 2 teams they've played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I give them an A through 2 games. Yeah. That's what I'm giving them. A-.
And Vandy, I mean, come on, man.
Is there anything? Can you do an F-?
If I was a big fan of the show Arrested Development, and they talked about all these new age schools where they gave these funky grades. Yeah. And she said, remember she got a crocodile in spelling? That's what Vandy gets. They get a crocodile. I don't even know what it means, but that's what she got.
We'll go to the West after this call. Brian, go ahead. You're on Sports Blitz.
Elmore County is 3-0.
Well, what's their grade, Brian? You give them an A?
Yep.
There you go.
They're going to upset Leeds by 7 points.
Wow.
Do they play this weekend?
At Leeds, Friday.
Elmore County with a 1-point win over, who was it they played?
2021.
Who was it that they played, though?
This past week?
Yes.
Hello?
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 Echo.
At Leeds.
Now, who did they play last week?
Munford.
43-42 over
That's
Munford.
right, because that was a classic game, and that was Munford was in 1-point. And Munford did beat Leeds by 1 point.
That's it. That's going to be interesting, Brian. We appreciate your call, buddy.
Alabama wins by 21 over the Rebs.
I don't think so, but we'll see.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Brian. Brian's
well, let's do the West really quick.
Rose-colored glasses there for sure tonight.
Well, he's got what?
That's the first time I've had an echo. I said hello. So, Brian, there giving me an echo back. We'll start at the bottom. We'll go with Mississippi State.
You know what? I'm going to give them a B-. I'm not going to judge them too harshly based on
they had a chance to win the ball game.
They were right there. They didn't play their best, and they were right there towards the end. I think it's more of a testament to how tough this conference is versus Mississippi State's just so bad because in the end, somebody's going to lose, somebody's going to win.
No doubt about it. Arkansas.
Whew. I'm going to go. Well,
I'm going F.
Really?
They lost to Toledo.
Yeah,
Lou.
but I know. I'm going to give them a C-.
They threw the ball for 400-something yards. I think Alex Collins had 54 yards rushing. They are a running team.
I know.
And they scored 12 points.
Well, and I get all that, and I get
Bielema
running his mouth.
No way they can get a C.
I'm just saying C-.
That's the kind of teacher I would love to have in school. You just bombed it, but I feel sorry for you. I'm going to give you a C.
I'm going to say C- because I am going to give them some points. They lose Keon Hatcher. Their leading wide receiver, Jonathan Williams, is out.
Yep.
I've got to, again, grade
But
on
Brandon Allen is who we thought he was.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brandon Allen.
He threw the ball, but
he's got more passing yards than anybody in the conference.
Yeah, but in crunch time, he threw it off the crossbar.
That's true. That is true. That's tough.
Hunter Henry was wide open, and he threw it off the crossbar. All right, so we'll move on. Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, I got to give them an A. I mean, what else can you do?
I'll give them an A, too. I've definitely got an A, and this is a true test this weekend for them.
And people say, well, they played two lightweights. I mean, how many times has Alabama or Auburn scored 70 in back-to-back games, or 70 period? I don't know that I've ever seen either one of them score 70.
Exactly. Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, I'm going to give them an A, too.
Yeah, they look good.
What else they have the best win in the conference.
Well, they fought their way, beat Arizona State. They fought their way out of obscurity, which we all felt like was wrong, out of the top 25 into the top 25. And
they have a kid named Dalen Mack who chased down a running back against Ball State this past week. I know it's just Ball State. Whenever a defensive lineman chases down a running back, now this is at the second level. He had already passed the line of scrimmage. And Myles Garrett, that team's going to be strong.
Yeah, they look like they're getting better and better. We'll move on into LSU.
LSU, I'm going to give them a solid B. Okay. I mean, maybe B+. You go on the road and win the SEC, I'll give you a B+.
Yeah, and they avenged their loss last year. So Auburn going in this week.
I mean, how do you get 2-0, but I think I got to give them a C or a C-.
Oh, I think that's generous because I gave them a D+.
Yeah.
Auburn a D+ after 2 weeks, even though they're 2-0, because it's Jacksonville State at home. I mean, I understand. Now, that's why I give Arkansas an F, because they lost at home to a team that shouldn't have been close to them either. Auburn, the difference in Auburn is they did go on the road. We didn't know what Louisville had, but Louisville's a formidable opponent. It's like you can't blame Auburn for Louisville going 0-2 on the season, going to Houston or losing to Houston or whatever you want to call it. But, go to the Georgia Dome. They controlled that game pretty much. They let them creep back in at the end. It didn't look pretty. But this flat game by Auburn against Jacksonville State just – I mean, I can't give them – I might give them a C- at best right now.
But by the by, Gus Malzahn's offense in 2 games against a team that was beaten at home by Houston and another team from FCS in overtime, so he's had 9 quarters, has 6 total touchdowns. On 2 at his home stadium and on a surface that should be very friendly to a team like his.
Alabama.
A-. I mean, I can't give them a solid A simply because the place kicking is so scary to me. I don't even know what to say about it.
And it's a good. I gave them an A too, so I think I just gave them a regular A. Caller, go ahead. You're on Sportz Blitz.
Good evening, guys. It's me again.
It's me. It's me again,
Jerome. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, man. Hey, my Bulldogs looking good, and Alabama's doing good, and I don't know what happened to Auburn. I mean, they played a team that just played them all the way down to the end, and just, it could have went either way,
Yeah, no doubt, Jerome.
But I I would like to. That was a great game because I mean, just
Which
think about
game?
Jackson State.
Oh, Auburn.
They don't care. I mean, you know, like hey, most of them they want to be in a big stadium like Auburn. I mean, they went down there to play, and if there's a few mistakes, I know Luke would think about it. Jackson State should have won that. I mean, but that's just like anything else. But anyway, come on, Roll Tide, War Eagle, and come on, Bulldogs. Lafayette Bulldogs, we undefeated, and we're going all the way.
We appreciate it, Jerome.
Hey, Jerome.
Thank you so much. He doesn't even mean a mouthful there because he just gets them all in there. He wants to make sure everybody's taken care of. We're going to take a break. We come back, we'll have Jim Hardy on with us on the show. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live by JR and SNS Discount Tire right after.
Bradbury Medical Equipment serves the Lake Martin area's needs with durable medical equipment and respiratory care. Bradbury Medical Equipment is home-owned and operated, providing skilled, qualified, and professional people to set up and deliver all of their equipment. Bradbury Medical Equipment provides 24-hour service and will file all insurance claims, making claims trouble-free. Located on Airport Drive in Alexander City, Bradbury Medical Equipment, a history of neighborly care. Call them today at 256-215-8654.
Attention drivers, J&M Tank Lines is currently looking for local and over-the-road Class A CDL drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Our over-the-road drivers are home at least twice a week and can make $1,250 or more each week. You don't need a hazmat or tank endorsement. We also offer health insurance as low as $9 per week and many other great benefits. So come join the winning team. J&M Tank Lines. Call Jeff Sandlin today at 256-245-3933.
C&T Electric offers a wide range of installation and electrical repair services as well as 24-hour emergency services. Our knowledgeable experts only use quality parts and electrical fixtures that we feel confident in putting our brand name behind. You're the most important person in our business, and we strive to exceed your expectations with every interaction. At C&T Electric, we're dedicated to providing you with the service you deserve and the quality you expect.
Over the years, SNS Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. SNS Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at SNS offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, SNS offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At SNS Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Lila's Engraving, celebrating 20 years of business in Alexander City, is proud to supply the Lake Martin area with all of its trophies, plaques, name tags, and any other engraving needs. Lila's also specializes in custom framing of any size picture or portrait. Lila's Engraving has been and continues to be a proud sponsor of Lake Martin area athletics, so go by and see or call Lila's Engraving at 256-234-6004.
Everybody that's giving us a call tonight. We want to go to the Walton Law Attorney at Law Hotline now and pick up Jim Hardy, a good friend of the show and head coach at Victory down in Millbrook, Alabama. So, Jim, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thank you guys for having me.
Well, Jim, most of the time we talk about outdoors when I have you on, and we talk about your banquet, and we talk about the the organization that you founded, the organization Outdoor Friends Forever. But tonight we're going to talk about your football team and give you guys some props on what you guys have been doing down in Millbrook for the last 3 or so years. Talk about what's going on down there and how you guys have been doing, because y'all are on some type of tremendous run right now, aren't you?
Yeah, it actually, for us, we just about probably like any other program, try to put a good thing together and get these guys working hard as a unit and just go week to week and just see what you can produce out of letting a lot of kids get on the same page and work together.
Well, talk about it for everybody out there that might not be familiar with you guys. This is 7-man football, correct?
Yes.
Talk about the format and the game, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to sell your program and talk about your program tonight, because I know you're very humble when it comes to bragging on yourself and talking about your kids, but how many games in a row have you guys won now?
23 so far, and we basically, as a play in private school football, it's a Christian league where they have 12, and some years last year had 15 teams in the league. And it varies, you have to play in it because of number of kids in the school. We're not blessed enough to have, like Benjamin Russell, have 2,000 kids. We have 200 in our school. So I have to pick from the boys that we have and be able to coach up, what talent we've got. And we went 2 years in a row, 10-0, and won state titles. And then this year, we're headed in a good direction just week by week and trying to get these, kids to experience football and really enjoy it. And for a lot of guys out there that don't know what this style of football is, it's really wide open. Like in 11-man football, you got wide receivers and tight ends and running backs can go out. Well, in our game, everybody is eligible for a pass. So we've been involved in some games that, I had one last year that was 92-68, if that tells you what kind of scoring goes on.
Wow, that's phenomenal. If you like offense, that's where you need to go. And you got some kids that really are phenomenal kids, I know, in the classroom, but great athletes on the field. And I want to start with your quarterback, Jim. Talk about him a little bit.
Mason Bird is a very special young man. I got a hold of him as a 10th grader. In his freshman year, he had 12 interceptions and 5 touchdowns, and really didn't even spot like any other freshman you've seen, really awkward and trying to understand the game and, find his way. And we got him into the program and built him up and got him working out. Well, in his sophomore and junior year put together, he had 70 touchdowns and about 4,800 passing yards. And he's well on that pace this year. He's got already close to, I think it's 18 touchdowns this year in 4 games, and garnering a lot of attention from a lot of schools. I'm getting a lot of colleges that would normally never even look in the direction of small programs like this, looking that way now because they're, the astronomical numbers he's putting up.
Yeah, and
because of any kid putting in the hard work, that's where it pays off at.
Yeah, and I think he has the intangibles too. He's a pretty big kid, right?
Yes, he's 6'1", 6'1 and a half. He's running in that 190, 195 range. And we put a lot of effort and work into his arm and his footwork and, took him around because I always told him that you've got what it takes. I said, we just got to get you to some of these places and let guys look at you. And his first camp he ever went to in his life was the Elite Michigan camp that came over to Prattville with Harbaugh and all those guys there, and he won the accuracy challenge for all the quarterbacks that were there that day. There was about 18 senior quarterbacks, and that was from Prattville, Wetumpka, Van Hope, Edgewood, the whole bunch, and he won it all.
That's tremendous. That tells you there. I mean, when you go out to those camps, it's all about the individual and what you can do as far as running 40 times and drills that you do and passing. As far as quarterbacks are concerned, that's a big deal for him to go to that camp and win that. So, moving forward, Jim, I want to, before we get into another special story that we want to talk about, one of the reasons we had you on, talk about how you got involved and how you became the head football coach at Victory.
Well, years ago, and some of you know my story, but some people don't. Years ago, I was actually at Auburn University working with Auburn's football team as a college student in plans of being a football coach at a later date. And had an accident and kind of changed my life for a little bit and got out of football for 10 or 12 years. And I really still had it in my heart that I knew I wanted to be it and love the game and really love to be around kids and help them any which way I could. And this one gentleman, an older guy, just found out about me one day, and he said, hey, you ought to come out and, see our program and see what we're doing. And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of busy with off and other things that are going on, and he kept on and on. It was kind of one of those pestering things, and I finally said, okay, I'll go. And it was like their last couple weeks of their season. Well, I went out and watched their team, and I was like, man, you got all kinds of talent. You just got it lined up in the wrong places. And he was like, well, okay, kind of tell me what we need to do here. Well, I told him, and basically what the story goes is the last game of that season that I helped them with, they won the game. Well, they wouldn't, settle for no for the next year for me being their coach. So they just kept on and on and on. And I finally said, okay, I'll put aside my fishing and traveling and other things so that I can live what I want to do and live my dream of being a coach. And when I put it all down and put in the hard work to do, what our team does, because I know a coach doesn't do it. It's the players that do it, and getting everybody lined up in the right spot is one of the biggest things there is letting guys understand what they're naturally talented at. The rest of it is, as they say, history. It's just we're just going week by week and seeing what happens.
Jim, you're involved with kids on multiple levels, and again, I applaud you. And I coach Little League football too, and are involved with kids, and it's so rewarding to me to be able to watch kids grow and learn lessons through sports, and we talk about that on this show all the time. That it's about the game, and you want kids to learn about the game, but you also want them to learn life lessons and how to become good human beings, and how to work together and care for one another, and take things out of the game that other than wins and losses.
I tell them all the time that like most high school guys find out that once that last Friday night's played, there's about 2% of you that's going on to college, and you need to enjoy every Friday night that those lights are on, because you're going to look back 20 years from now and say, gosh, if I could have just played one more play. And I always coach them to play that one more play every play, so that they'll never look back the rest of their life and go, gosh, I wish I'd have played a little harder.
Yeah, exactly. Take it all for what it is, and enjoy every second of it. Well, the special thing that you guys did, and we've got the video for all of you that are watching out there statewide, and I'm going to let you talk about this. Just tell the story, Jim, a 10-year-old kid that it's in a wheelchair. You guys made it a special night for him this past week.
Yeah, as you know, and some other people out there know, I help with a group called Outdoor Friends Forever, and what we do is provide outdoor opportunities for children, whether that's in the sporting world, whether that's in the fishing and hunting and in any type of sport or anything outdoors they want to be involved in. And this young child is just a very happy person. I mean, you've never met any person in your life that's any more happier every single day of his life. And then he lives his life in a motorized wheelchair, and I wish I could pronounce the genetic disease that he has, but I can't because it's such a long word. But he basically has where his bones are so brittle that he could just bump up against the corner of a coffee table and break his leg. That's how much, he has to deal with on a daily basis. But yet he smiles and goes through all of that every day with the biggest smile on his face. And what we did is we really got involved to where we wanted to give him an opportunity to be part of a program. And he started asking me, about coming out and helping with the team. And I said, sure, absolutely. So we got him out and told him that he could come sit on the sideline and help coach and all that. And all during the night, this last Friday night on our homecoming game, I asked him every 4 or 5 plays. I said, everything going good? Or you tell me a play you want to do? And he would tell me every once in a while what he wanted to try. Well, then right around halftime, I looked at him and I said, hey, what do you think about if you go in the game? And he looked at me with the biggest face and his little chest pounding like it was like, no, I can't do that because, people, we don't do that. And I said, who doesn't do that? And he said, well, nobody's out there, running around like that in a wheelchair. I said, well, I'm coaching, so what's the difference? And with a little bit of coaching and talking, we got him out there, and the boys assured him that nobody would touch him, and they would all block for him, and he was able to motor his motorized wheelchair about 30 yards for a touchdown. And I have never seen, the biggest smile on the child's face. The entire stands were smiling and excited about it. And I think it just ended up being a great thing for everybody involved, not only him, but the entire team and the families and both teams that were really involved in it, to show us, Brett, that really it is a football game, but when you get right down to it, it's really just about enjoying life and seeing a little kid live his dream of being able to motor for a touchdown.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. You said it best. It's all about enjoying life. And I saw somebody put a post on Facebook today that had a picture on there of something that they were doing, and a comment on there from somebody said, you just seem to enjoy life. And I think that's what we all need to take away. We all get so caught up in the rush of and the daily grind of what we're trying to do and trying to get here and trying to get there, and we don't take enough time to stop and enjoy the great things that the good Lord has blessed us all with and appreciate it enough. And what you guys do, Jim, with OFF, and I'm proud to be associated with that group. You allow me to be in that group with you guys, and what you did this past weekend for that young man and the lives that you have touched, Jim, is far greater than any kind of championship ring anybody could have. So my hat's off to you, and just really, really proud of all that you've done.
Well, I like to say, like I tell my boys, I don't go on the field with them. It's their ball game. I'm just proud to be able to point them in the right direction and hopefully let all of us gain something every day in life that we really enjoy and can look back on, years later and say we were able to help somebody in some way.
Well, Jim, it's always a pleasure having you on, my man, and good luck to you guys the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll get you on again in a few weeks. Give us an update how the season's going.
All right. Well, it's good to talk to y'all. Thank y'all for the time.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it so much. That's Jim Hardy, head football coach down at Victory Christian in Millbrook, Alabama, 23-game winning streak, 2 state titles in 7-man football, and a great guy above and beyond that, and some really good things he does for kids with needs out there with his Outdoor Friends Forever organization. We're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, Brian Matthews with Andy Graham for the Auburn Blitz. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
"2015 is a new year, and the rules for FHA loans have changed.
If you currently have an FHA loan, call Home Place Mortgage today.
Right now, we can refinance your current FHA mortgage without an appraisal.
Your interest rate will reduce, and so will your monthly mortgage insurance.
Call us today to start saving in 2015.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Right now, Jacob is only thinking about this game. He's not thinking about the clavicle injury he sustained last football season, or the subsequent surgery and weeks of physical therapy. He's back in the game. With 3 orthopedic surgeons and a department dedicated to physical therapy, rehabilitation, and sports medicine, Russell Medical Center gets you back in the game for another winning Wildcat season. Orthopedic medicine at Russell Medical Center.
We are Steel, German-engineered chainsaws and landscape products.
The majority of which are made here in America by Americans.
And exported to over 90 countries around the world.
Find out why Steel is #1 in America at steelusa.com.
Find your Steel outdoor products and more at the new Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. We are your dealer for Nature's Miracle state-of-the-art water filtration systems, providing sales and installation of systems for your whole house or under sink. Join our Diamond Club and enjoy many benefits and services while saving money and getting priority service scheduling. We offer financing, and our services include a 1-year satisfaction guarantee. All our technicians are trained, background tested, drug screened, and wear photo IDs to ensure your safety and peace of mind. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy Graham here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free locally at 334-887-3401. We'll pick up your phone calls in the next segment, but right now we want to go to the AO Tourism Hotline and welcome in our good friend Brian Matthews from AuburnSports.com. Brian, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's always good to be with you guys.
Thanks so much for being here. Brian, you didn't happen to minor in psychology, did you? Because I think I might need some therapy today.
We were just talking about that earlier. Just don't know. It's hard to figure out what's going on with Jeremy. And, it could be a confidence problem, and call it psychological. I know that can be like a bad term sometimes, but you know what I mean? It might be just a thing of him needing to get that confidence back.
Yeah, I think that's definitely so. I think I need to get some confidence back, so I could use as much. Right? Yeah. Well, how about the video board? That was very impressive. I think it was as advertised.
Yeah. It was, it's what I expected. It was very big, and I could only see about half of it from my seat in the press box. So that's just an indication of just how large it is.
Yeah, well, I think that's, we've talked about it before. They need to, when they do some renovations on the other end of the stadium, maybe move the press box around, you'll have a better view of it. But
that's true.
What can you say about Saturday, Brian? It was it was an FCS team. It was a very, very good FCS team. They've moved to number 1 in the country, but you can throw out as many cliche excuses as you'd like. The bottom line is the game should never have been within 4 touchdowns.
That's right. And they narrowly avoided one of the worst losses in Auburn history, which is something you don't want to say about any game. So they were very fortunate. When Rock Thomas fumbled down there, with about 3 minutes left, I thought, geez, this is actually going to happen, or it's close to happening. And Jacksonville State made a number of mistakes from that time on that really allowed Auburn to sort of get back in that thing. And, of course, Auburn did a good job there in the final drive and then in overtime. But, this Auburn team has to get a much, much better this week. I mean, much better heading to LSU. LSU is not a powerhouse, but if Auburn plays like it did the first 2 games, they will look like a powerhouse Saturday afternoon, I should say.
How much do you give Jacksonville State credit for Saturday and what took place? I mean, obviously, Eli Jenkins played tremendous. He made some of the better back shoulder throws I think I've ever seen a college quarterback make. It seemed like you said, they played fairly flawless up until the last 3 minutes of the game, and then it just seemed like the moment became too big for them. But, where would you put it as far as Auburn's deficiencies and Jacksonville State rising to the occasion?
I give them credit. They played very well, but this is about Auburn. They should have won that game by multiple touchdowns, should have been able to put it away by the third quarter, should have been able to play a lot more young players and give some guys some more experience and build some confidence heading into LSU. But it didn't happen. And, whether or not Auburn can improve or not, we talked to Gus today, and he pretty much guaranteed it. He didn't say I guarantee it, but he said this offense will get better and Jeremy Johnson will get better, and they've got a plan to get it done. So we'll see. They've got a lot of work to do.
Well, certainly there were a few positives in the game. Montravius Adams certainly being one. The knock on him was always a guy that maybe take a playoff here and there. He's been a beast, really. The first 2 games he's been in the backfield almost every play. Just talk a little bit about him and his emergence so far.
It's been terrific. He's what you want. He's a guy that's gotten better every single year. He's tapping that talent that he has, that he's always had, is playing his best when he was challenged to do so. And he keeps this up. He's going to have a great year for Auburn. That defense is going to continue to get better as everybody sort of learns to play their position, to play within the scheme and get some more experience. And he's going to get a nice fat paycheck here next spring if he keeps this up. He's playing terrifically. And you know, you get guys like Trey Matthews and Carl Lawson back on defense. I think that side of the ball, even though they're giving up some yardage and you know, they're not doing as well on third down as they need to, you can see the potential there, and the potential to be much, much better once they get their players healthy and get some of those young cornerbacks more experience.
Harbor Point Ship Store has everything to make your day on the lake more enjoyable. Come on out to the biggest marina on the water, stocked with name brands like O'Brien wakeboards, Airhead tubes, and Costa Del Mar sunglasses. Stop by for lunch. They have pizza, hot dogs, burgers, and more. Get your gas, groceries, snacks, ice, and everything you need for a fun day on the lake. Are you in the market for a new or pre-owned boat? Harbor Point has the best selection around of everyone's favorite Crest pontoons and Four Winds boats. Harbor Point also has a great selection of pre-owned boats. Come on out and take a look at Harbor Point, Marina Point Road in Dadeville. Get to the point.
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Welcome to Baumhauer's, food fans.
It's game on, starting with a cup of homemade gumbo and cold beer on tap from our lively bar, coupled with a mouth-watering top choice steak.
Oh man, always fresh, always popular, hot Bama brown and Alabama wild shrimp, hot off the grill. That'll be tough to beat.
If you haven't been to Baumhauer's lately, you're really missing out on all the action.
Baumhauer's, legendary food, legendary fun.
Big trucks control our highways with little to no regard for the rest of us. The U.S. Department of Transportation estimates that over 500,000 wrecks occur each year involving big trucks. If you or a loved one have been hit and injured by a big truck, then don't wait any longer. Call me today. I'll stand up to these big truck companies and I will fight for you.
What are you waiting for? Call Kenneth Ingram Jr. now.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
Season.
He's 6'5", 230. Jeremy Johnson. On the rollout, Johnson. And looks long. And it's caught. Touchdown.
A new determination.
Oh, Dirk Williams made the catch. He stretched out as far as he could go. Lowers his shoulder and sends the LSU defender to the ground.
And the return of the boom.
And here you have the Will Muschamp effect. Everywhere he's been, he's at a top 10 defense.
The Auburn Tigers are ready to proud. Lake Martin's home for Auburn football for over 10 years. Kowaliga Country, 97.5.
This is Coach Gus Malzahn of the Auburn Tigers on your official Auburn IMG Sports Network station, Kowaliga Country 97.5.